Hello, all my friends. It's Pam from GlamJunkJournals. Thank you for being here with me today. Today, we are continuing on in my journal making series. And this is part 6, if you can believe it or not. We are just cruising right along here, and I'm having so much fun with this series, and I'm really just so pleased that you guys are loving it and following along with me. So thank you for the comments, thank you for the likes, and I appreciate every single one of you. So like we did in our last video, we're going to be continuing on with adding some embellishments to our signature pages. And this is all before we add them into the journal itself. And like I've said before, this is just the easiest way for me to move things around and really look at each of the individual signatures and just add whatever you want to them before they're put into the spine of your journal. And that's not to say that we'll not add some more embellishments after everything is put together, but this to me is more freeing. It gives me more creativity. So the last video, we finished pretty much for the most part this signature, and I found a little card that just looks so awesome in that little tuck along the bottom there. I love this signature. It's just come together so beautifully. And what I was finishing up with last video was doing a little flip out here. And I did mention that I was going to try and get my sewing machine over here. And I've got to tell you guys, it just did not work. I couldn't get the camera angle correct so that you guys could see what I was doing. So that didn't work out too well. But that is not going to hinder what we're doing here today. And let's just get right back into it. So on this signature, what I wanted to add is a little flip out right here on the back side. And if you remember, we did add a little belly band here, and I did cut these little pieces of trim to use as our hinge. Now what I did go ahead and do is I sewed around the edges of both of these pieces and glued on one of the hinges. And the reason I did that off camera is, number one, I couldn't get my sewing machine over here. And just to continue on, I'll show you how to put the hinge together, and it's the same premise what I did right here as what we're going to do right along the side. Now this is the front page of the signature we're working on right now, and I'm going to get out the two pieces that we cut from last time. And what I wanted to do is have this fold out or flip out or whatever you want to call them. They're also another term for these is tip ins, and I just like to call them fold outs because they kind of do the same thing, and that's just what I've always called them. Oh, and I did want to mention another thing that I did is I added some tulle. You guys know how I love to add tulle, and this little ribbon right here, this was an afterthought, and I'll tell you why. Number one, there's never a mistake in junk journaling, but what I did is I added some distress ink along the border here, and I didn't care for it. It was too dark. So I thought, okay, well, let's just add a ribbon over the top, and that is what I did with some of my art glitter glue, and I think it looks fabulous. So who knew, right? There was a little bit of, you know, the ink was just too dark right there. So that's how I remedied that. And we are going to have this flip out like so. So what I'm going to do is move this part of the signature out of the way, and I have added some other things that I'm going to show you later. That's on this side, that page right there. So let's see, what am I going to do? What was I saying? It's going to look like this, right? And I want my hinge to be on the exterior. So this is the outside of the page. So what I'm going to do is line these up so that half is on the front, kind of in the middle, and half is going to be on the flip side, on the other side. Now, since this is more of a sturdy piece of trim, I'm going to use my Fabrifix, and I also call it Fabri-Tac. But it's the same thing, and it just depends on where you buy it, whether it's called one thing or the other. So I'm just going to eyeball this and put it probably about an inch. Let me get out my ruler here. Hold on just a second. Yep, it's about an inch from the top, and then I'm going to go up an inch from the bottom. And I eyeball it, but I wanted to give you guys just an idea of as to where I place these. So I'm going to get this going here, maybe. Come on, Fabri-Tac, Fabrifix, Fabri-Tac, whatever you want to call it, right? And then I'm going to just secure those down on that side. And with these flip outs, what I like to think of when I attach these, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me flip this over. Got my little stuff we're going to do later on that side. What I like to think of is when this folds over like so, are you going to put something thick or, you know, not real thin on this side? And what I mean by that is, how far do you want your edges to come out? And I'm not going to put anything really thick in between this flip out, if I'm making sense. So I'm going to line these up very close to one another, and not so that they're touching, but maybe an eighth of an inch. And I am just going to glue that down. So I'm going to flip that over to make sure that I've got it all even here. And I'm going to go and glue the other side. And I'm going to make sure that that is secure. So I'm going to push that down and hold it for just a second. You just don't want the two pieces to overlap, because then they won't fold up right, and you'll get it just won't lay flat, and it gets all bulky and weird. You like that technical term, bulky and weird. So I'm going to press those down and get on the edges here. And another thing I did want to mention is I do love to use my sewing machine, but all of my tutorials and everything can be done without the use of a sewing machine. So, you know, these can all be made without a sewing machine. So I'm going to just let that dry here. I'm going to get the edge of this one here. Come on. And this Fabrifix is not really that old, so it should be working okay. And as you can tell, it was right along the edge, and it flips out like so. And of course, yes, I know we're going to have to put something in there, right? And then probably something along the back side there. But I love how that looks. How easy and fun is that? And you could even add another one and do a triple flip out. You know, the sky's the limit on this kind of stuff. So, since we're on the exterior of our signature, let's just keep working on this. Now, what I see on the front right here is stripes, right, going right across the top. And to me, there's a pattern down here, and then we did do our gold embossing on this center. So I thought something, you know, is needed right up there. So what I pulled out was another piece of gorgeous trim. And I thought that would look really pretty right across the top, like so. Now, I don't know if I want to cover up that whole bit right there, or have it off to the side just a little bit so you can see some of that pretty embellishment right there. And I think I don't know what I think is what I think. Maybe move it down or up a little bit. I'm not sure. So maybe a little off center so that you can still see this really pretty trim, and then we can still have something to tuck, like another belly band across there, so we can tuck something right under here. So let's just do that. I'm going to cut off the edge right here. And remember, layering, it's all about the layering. And that's what we're doing right along here, is we're building layers. So I am going to glue this down, and I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to try, I'm going to do Fabrifix, but I'm going to do little teeny dots so that it doesn't seep through, because you have to be careful with the Fabrifix. And what I have also done in the past is put my Fabrifix into one of these containers right here. These are Sugar Bell icing bottles. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. And that works really well too, because of this fine tip at the top. Now, I did not do that with this particular bottle, and this works really well. So that's just an option, another option. I'll put a link in the description box, but you can put glue inside of these icing bottles, and it works really well. Now, what I have not found, and I've got to be honest with you, full disclosure here, is I haven't found a cap that works for this. And so your glue can get dried out unless you put something else over this when you're not using it. So that's just an FYI here. These are great too. I just thought of that. So I'm going to push this down right along there. Now, I think that looks wonderful, but what I'm seeing is this little bit right here. There's a line right there, and I think just my aesthetic here is I don't like plain lines like that. And we might come back later and put something along here. I don't know, but that's just a thought. Let me see. Wait, I got a little. Ooh, I've got a little bit of embellishment right there, but you guys get the idea. See that? I think that kind of finishes the straight line right there. So maybe we'll do something like that, but we'll get back to that. Okay, so there is the front, and that is really secure. And so we're going to go to the back side. Now remember, this is our belly bands that we did, the collaged belly bands, and I love that. That looks so good. And I found some trim that I thought would look beautiful right across the bottom. So we're going to do that. And what my eye sees is, since it's hanging a little bit off the bottom, and that's personal preference. I like things to hang off the edges of my journals. I think it gives it a little bit of, it's just fun. It just gives a little bit of interest, but you could also, you know, have it right along the bottom border and not have it hang over the edge, but I like to have that. So what I thought, since we're going to have this hanging over the edge, is to add something underneath this. And I was thinking some tulle. I love gold tulle. So let's just put some of that along the bottom. Now I'm going to cut, this is a wide piece, so I'm going to cut it in half just to make it not as wide. Let's see here. And then you guys know how I love to do the scrunch technique, so that's what I'm going to do along the bottom here, is just kind of move it together like so, and the messier the better. All right, so let's see how that looks with a little bit of the tulle sticking out of the top and the bottom. I think that that looks fabulous. All right, so we're just gonna go with it and glue that down. So I'm going to first put this belly band and make sure it's straight. And I'll glue the top while we're at it here. Make sure that that is secure, and I'm going to stand up just to make certain that I've got it straight up and down, which I do. Okay, and then we're going to go across the bottom like so. Get my tool out here. Which one was it? I got two pieces now. Okay, there we go. And then just kind of smush this up. There's so many ideas I have, you guys. This is so fun. Oh my gosh. When I first started this series, I was like, oh, you know, I wanted to plan out each of the different segments, but this is what's so freeing, is I'm just letting the journal come to life, and just, you know, doing the process, and whatever video or whatever idea I have next, that's what we're doing, and I think it's coming along fabulously. All right, so I'm going to glue that down, make sure that that is on there. And as you can see, maybe you can see, I hope you can see, there's a little bit of extra. It's like a little too much, so you can always trim your edges down. Okay, now that looks so good, and you're going to be able to see that from the bottom of the journal. Now, one thing I did see, that I was kind of over my fold where the journal is going to fold up, so I'm going to move this over just a little bit, because you can adjust things before the Fabrifix is totally dry. So I'm going to make sure that that folds up. Yep, there, now it does. Okay, so that's awesome. Now what I had on the back is this postcard, and I just thought it looked good. It looks great right there. So we're going to add that as a pocket. So let's do that. And this is an authentic Parisian postcard. It doesn't have anything on the back, so I thought that would be good to use as a pocket, because sometimes if they have writing on the back, I like to be able to see that, and I don't like to glue those down. But since this one doesn't, we're just going to go with it. So like I said, we're going to use this as a pocket right here. So I'm going to glue just the sides. Come on. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. I'm concentrating, that's why I'm not talking. It was really rainy here in Arizona for 2 days, and we got, I know you think the desert, what? No, it was raining, and it's freezing here now. Now, granted, freezing, it's all relative, but you know, about 45 degrees for Arizona is cold. Okay, so that looks great, but to me, is it finished? No. No, it is not. And so what I was thinking is maybe some more of the sari silk. And I love that look just across the side there. And another thing that this page is telling me is this little bit of pink right here. I love that, and I think I want to play up that pink. So we're going to do something with pink. I don't want to have a lot of pink in this journal, but some of the digital pages from idajanedesigns, Pistachio, wonderful, it's just gorgeous. They do have a little bit of pink, so maybe some pops of pink throughout. That's just where I'm going with this. So let's do another border of. Hold on just a second. I need a wipe here on my Fabrifix here. I'm gonna do a little border along the side for this sari silk. And remember, I did say that I iron this for this particular application. I just like the way it looks when I put it on the edges of my page. You kind of can see more of the actual pattern, especially with the pattern. So I like it a little bit wider, so that is why I iron it. And then just kind of smush it around until you like the way it looks. Like so, and that is boinging up, so I'm going to get some more glue right there. And I will probably add some more to this, but that is going to be the beginning right there. I'm just kind of smush it around until you like the way it looks. And another thing you can do is once these are ironed, dry, you can iron them. That's what I was going to say, is sometimes if they're sticking up too much, you can iron them. I will I will sew around the edges of this, and that'll make them lie flatter also. But if you, like I said, if you don't have a sewing machine, you can iron these. It's great. And then I was thinking, okay, I need something right here too. That may be something, let's see, I don't know here, maybe, I'm looking in my bin here of goodies, got all sorts of stuff in there, you know, maybe a little bit of bling. Maybe I'll play up the pink with this gorgeous, gorgeous ribbon, you know, the pink from right there. Maybe I'll put a little bit right along the side there. I haven't decided yet, but that's where my mind is, what it's leading to. Or you could also just do some bling right along the side there. But that looks wonderful. So we're going to continue on here. Let me put this back together. So we got that, and that. Now let's see what I have decided on these pages here. And you know, I could add stuff to every single page, but that's why my signatures and my journals get so chunky. So I'm going to try and curtail a little bit of that. That's funny. That is actually kind of funny, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. There is some of that pink that I was mentioning. So that is calling my attention to it. So, oh yeah, here's what I saw. This gorgeous trim I thought would look really good just hanging along the side there. So I'm going to put that down, and I am going to use my art glitter glue for this, because this piece of trim is very sheer. And so I'm just going to dot along the edges just so that it stays down, but you don't see a lot of the glue coming through the other side. So let's see if this works. I think it's gonna work. I think that that looks so pretty. And remember, we're building layers, because what I'm seeing now is maybe something across the top, but you never know, because once we put something underneath, you may not need anything else. And then do I like that folded over the side? I don't know. Yeah, I do. I think that that looks cute. Just that little bit over the side. And so what does that tell me? Oh, you need to put something right there. Do you see how this goes? One thing just goes into the next, goes into the next. It's so fun. And that's how I love to build all of my journals. So let's continue on here. Oh, there is this. Oh, this little piece of wallpaper here. Oh man. Okay, what should we put on there? I don't know, but I think it needs something. Let's see what I got. I've got some lace. I think that that looks really pretty. And another thing I did want to bring up to you, and I was noticing this as I was putting my journal, this journal together, and I'm looking at some of my past journals, is even if I have a lot of color going in my journals, which I do for the most part, all my journals have a lot of color, I do like to incorporate some of the beiges and the creams and the more antique looking laces and linens and things like that, because for me, I think that brings the whole vintage vibe into the journal, and that is the aesthetic that I love so much. So I do like to incorporate creams and beiges. No matter what the color scheme of my journal is, I still like to add some of the beiges in here. So I think let's just go with that. And I don't know, should I put it right in the middle like I'm always doing, or maybe up towards the top? I think I'll do up towards the top just to make it a little different. And I think I'll go the whole way onto the other side, and I'm going to cut this at the same angle. So like I mentioned, I do like the angle cut. Now what am I doing here? Oh, I'm trying to cut with my other hand. Okay. I am left-handed, but growing up, they didn't have left-handed scissors. So I had to learn to cut right-handed, and right there I was trying to cut left-handed, and that didn't work. It's just weird. It's a weird deal. I'm going to use my art glitter glue again. And then I'm just going to glue up at the top. And then probably, I think what I'll do is I'll glue the center also, just to hold it in place a little bit so that it doesn't go diagonal. And you can always sew this right here. And I might do that, I'm not sure. But let's just get this secured down here. Okay, I think that that looks really good. Put my little pin back in here. All right, is that sticking? Well, it's sticking to each other. Let's see. Yeah, that is going to hold. Okay, so that looks wonderful. I love that old map. Oh, that's so cool. All right, we're continuing on, guys, and let's see what I've done on the next page here. Oh yeah, I found this this applique, and I think I mentioned this before, and I used it on this signature right there. I do like to bring some of the same elements, if I can, from one signature to the next so that it is cohesive. And I thought that that would look fabulous right next to this gorgeous rose. So we're gonna put that down. Let's see, I'm gonna use Fabrifix on this one here, and I'm gonna tack just the top, like so, and then along the bottom. So we're gonna have another tuck right there. And get that down. And it adds so much to the page. And I'm thinking, do I care if this is on the other side? Meaning on the other page? I don't think so. I can always cut it off if I need to. So there's another one. Now we're at the middle of the signature. And another thing I mentioned is this tablecloth that was on the corner of this signature. I mentioned that I did want to use that in another signature. So this looks fabulous right along there. Not right in the center, not right on the side, but kind of angled. And I like the fact that it's going to dangle along the bottom and stick out on the sides. And there again, we'll have some more places to tuck things or put things on top of, or, you know, just whatever. It's just so much fun. All right, so I'm going to tack those down, and I'm going to put a little bit in the center where it folds up so that I can get it so that it's, you know, stays somewhat where I want it to. Now, since this is the center of the signature, if you remember, this is a heavier piece of paper. This is more of the cardstock weight, because when we add it into our spine, into our journal, it will stay secure. And then let's do, and not rip, because I've had that happen before. And it's not the end of the world, but you know, you want to avoid it if you can. Now what I see, now that looks really pretty as is, right? It does, but I let the page say, hey, now look at this along the side. Wouldn't that look awesome with something like a clip or a, you know, like a bulldog clip or some sort of dangle or a little cluster, or something along this side, the same way, maybe a bead hanging off the edge. It's just, I just love this so much because that gives me more ideas for my page. Okay, so we're going to continue on here. And then here's the back side. Look how cool this is. Just this little flip. Put something right along there. That's, I don't know, we're gonna have to do something with that. All right, so this side, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll just leave this page as is. I don't know. And if you remember, in the first video, this is a pocket, and each of the two pages of My Lady Caprice is a pocket. So we're gonna have something inside there. All right, so they continue on here. Now here is the telegram. And I was thinking, because see, there's the pink again. We have to incorporate some pink. And that's where I wanted to do this gorgeous ribbon. And this ribbon is from Sheila of Boho Daydreams. Yes, she's fabulous. And I just, you know, I like things sticking out of the sides of my journal page. And so I don't know if something like that, something straight up and down. I don't know. You guys, I'm just liking, I like to scrunch. I just do. So we're gonna do a little scrunching. But I thought rather than the whole length of the page, maybe just something right in the center. So let's just go with that. And it's just so much fun to see these pages come to life. I just can't tell you how much fun this is. And I know I say that over and over again, and you're probably like, okay, Pam, you know, we know, but it's true. It's just the best. So I'm gonna just put that right along the center. And so get my scissors out here. Right. Glue that down a little more so that it looks kind of even like the top, like so. Put a little bit of glue there. Come on. Oh, so pretty. Oh, it's just, I just absolutely love this. Oh, that looks so good. All right, so we're gonna continue on here. We've got a little fold out right here. Now this fold out tells me, hey, you need to put something right back here, which we will probably do. Not probably, we will do. But we're not gonna focus on that today. And here is the ledger page, and we created a fold up. I thought this little piece of trim would look great as a tab on the side. So we're just gonna glue that down. Now, I don't know, should I put something behind this, kind of for some pattern mixing? Let me see what I got here. Whoops, I'm sorry, I bumped the camera. I'm looking through my papers, and this is some of my offcuts and things like that. Let me see what that looks like, because I'm looking for something that may have a little bit of color, because I do have a lot of plain going on there. Let's see what else I have. Got that. These are just, like I said, my offcuts and stuff we've already used. Let me move this out of the way without bonking the camera. Jeez. Let's see. Oh, that looks really good, doesn't it? Oh. So does that. Oh, man. And so does that. Oh, I think I like this one. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. And I'm gonna tear the sides just because I like a little bit of the distressed look. Let me get out my walnut stain. Go along there. All right, glue that down. I'm getting crowded here. I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to do it off to the side here for just a second so that I can do that real quick. And I'm just going to put that, because I like that little bit of color showing on top of this trim. So I'm going to glue this down now. There we go. Oh, this looks so good. And I like the way, see, I added a little bit of a jagged edge on that side, and I made it a little longer than this trim. And I like that look. Let me move these out of the way here. Put that over to the side. Now, I don't know, I did not leave anything to tuck, you know, like a little tuck spot right there, and that's okay. What I'm thinking is, do I need to have this shut, meaning so that if I put something in there, it just goes to the end right along the side there without having this open. And I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to glue that shut. And it also gives some stability to this fold up, this little pocket, because this is an antique ledger. So doing this kind of, you know, gives some stability to this pocket. And we'll go on this side, and then we'll glue this down right along there. And I like the way it sticks out, adds some interest to the edge of the page. But you know, with anything, it's all just whatever appeals to you and you know, your personal preferences. Now see, look at those layers that we've got going on this journal, or I should say this signature. Love that. Look how cool that is. Oh, oh man, I love it. Love it. Ooh, there's some more pink. All right, I've got to, okay, I'm just thinking ahead. I'm gonna have to put something right there, but I don't know what. And then here's another little flip out right there. Not sure yet. We don't have to do everything on this video because, you know, my mind just starts going, and then I'm thinking, well, what could I do right here? I don't know, maybe some collaging. Maybe I'll do that, but I'm gonna focus on what I got going here today. So that is this signature. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Oh my gosh. I love this when it has those little things hanging off. It looks so good. So there's that signature. And let's see, I've got the third signature here, and I wanted to show you some ideas that I had for this third signature here. Got things everywhere here. So here we are, third signature. There's the pocket, remember the upper pocket that we did right along the side there? I love that. So what I thought, and here's again where I want to add a more neutral lace or something on this particular page, and to me it finishes the vintage look of the journal and this signature, and it's just what I like to do. So I found some gorgeous, gorgeous trim. Oh, I love this trim. So what I was thinking is putting that over the front, and the reason I like this is you can still see through it. You can still see the gorgeous pattern on the back side. And I'm gonna fold it over, and I do like to have some of the edge. It's going to be longer than the page itself. And let me move these other ones out of the way so I can show you what I'm talking about here. So I want a little bit of overhang along the side, and then I'm going to go all the way to the back, and there's a little fold out there. This is the outer page of the third signature, and so this is also a heavier cardstock. So what I thought I would do is cut right along this edge here, and we have this gorgeous leftover bit. Oh man. And I'm only going to go up to the fold, and the reason for that is when this folds over, I don't want it to go all the way to the edge because I feel as though this won't lay flat. So I'm just going to tack that down on the edge here. some glue on that. Oh, and make sure it's not going to impede how this folds, how that closes. And then the rest will go on this side. And I think that that looks wonderful. And there again, we've got another area for some goodies. Oh man. Yep, that looks great. So I'm going to go along the edge here. Now there is a little bit of white right along there, but that really just speaks to the vintageness of this trim. Hold on just a second. Get that glued down. And with the Fabrifix, I don't have to really worry about glue globs or anything with this because it's a thick lace trim. Do I have that straight? I think so. Get that tacked down there. And then, so we've got that. That looks so pretty. Here's that pink again. You see where I'm going with this? I'm gonna have to incorporate some pink right along there, which we are going to do here. And so then here is the pocket. So let's put something on that side. And I think more tulle right along the edge here. So this is the other piece that I cut off. Now let's see. I've got to figure this out here for a second here. I want it to go right along the back of that pocket. And I think it looks so good. So we're just going to go with it. So I'm going to glue the top and the side of my pocket there. I'm going to add the tulle right along the same area that I put the glue. And you can cut this down after you have it all put together. And just put that along the edge and then maybe do some more scrunch like so. Oh, this looks really good. I added some more glue there. Make sure it's secure. It needs some up there at the top, I can tell. Oh, that looks so pretty. Look at that. Now this right down here at the bottom, can you see that? It's hard for me to tell because it's getting kind of dark. It's getting to be late in the day, but I am going to trim that down just a little bit because I think it's a little too wide. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, I love that. Love it. Just love it. Okay, so there's that. Let's continue on. What else did I have here? Oh, here's another idea for you. You've got a small piece of lace or trim or whatever. You just put it in between the page. You don't have to glue it down or anything. I just thought that looked pretty. And you could have kind of a, you know, a fold out or whatever you want to call it. I just think that looks pretty. So we're just going to leave that. We're not going to do anything to it. All right. And here is another gorgeous piece of vintage lace. And that's, again, I like to incorporate those onto my pages because I feel that it makes the journal look old. So I'm just going to tack these down. And now this is part of I don't remember what this was. I think this was a dress. So I'm just going to glue those down. And so I encourage you guys, and this is something that I've had to learn over time, is look at your lace pieces in a different way. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about here. Let me just move this out of the way. Put this off to the side. This lace piece, it's not symmetrical. It's not a specific shape. It's very random. And I like to look at things that way and incorporate them onto the page. And rather than being so linear, I guess is what I'm trying to say here, because this was just an offcut from something. And I don't, I'm sure it was some journal that I had previously made, but it just looks so pretty along the border of this page. And it just speaks to me. It says, oh, I like those random pieces too. I do like some, that are square and perfect shapes and squares and rectangles and that kind of stuff. But I also like these that are not. They're just cut, and this is what you end up with. And I just think those are some of the prettiest pieces. So maybe, this is an idea for an upcoming video, cutting up lace in random patterns and then figuring out where, or getting some ideas as to where to put those in the journals. Because looking at this piece, you'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do with that, right? But it looks so good. And then you have some bits hanging over the side. Fabulous. Just fabulous. Oh, man. All right, so here is the center of my signature. I'm going to continue on there. I don't know if I'm going to put some lace or something along the sides here. I haven't figured that out yet. But on this page, look at that. Just a piece of sari trim added to the top of the page. Now what I'm thinking on this is I might just sew along the border there. I might add a clip up at the top and have it held that way. I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna leave that. And there's another thing, is you can just clip fabric onto the edge of the page and it looks so good, right? Let me get that back in there. There's the other side of that fabric. Let's see what we got. Oh, we have another hinge here. I do like to do that. I love to do that. So maybe, should I do another pattern on the back of that like I did on the other side? Let's see what I got here. Here's some of those same offcuts. Oh, that looks really good. That is the copy of my French stock certificate. Let me see what else I have here, guys. Hold on a second. I don't know if anything's talking to me right now. Let's see. I don't know. I guess I could just go with that. Let's just go with that. Just gives a little bit of added interest to the page. I'm going to glue that one down right along the top there. Oh, it looks so pretty, doesn't it, you guys? Yeah, it just gives a little bit of extra interest onto that page. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to glue this piece of trim down all the way and make it a hinge, kind of a hinge that sticks out. And I am going to glue underneath here to get it a little more stable. Like so. All right, let me move this signature out of the way here. The rest of that, and then this page off to the side so I can really see what I'm doing. And then go on this side. Do the same thing on this side. Okay. Oh, and imagine this. Now see, this is speaking to me again. You could put a dangle off of the side of this. Oh, doesn't that just, it just is so fun. So we could put something along the side right there. I don't know. You know, the possibilities are endless. And look how pretty that is. And we've got our pocket right along the bottom there. So let me put this back together. And I've got, I think, one more idea. If you guys can hang with me for just another minute here, let me get out my first signature, the one that we were working on in the last video. And I was looking at this back page. Here's another idea for you guys that I just think is so easy and so pretty. Is see this line right there? That was speaking to me saying, I don't know about these straight lines. So I thought just a ribbon right along the side. And this is totally flat, so it's not going to create any bulk. And just gonna cut right across there. Glue that down, and I think I'm gonna want it a little shorter. So hold on just a second, I'm gonna cut that off. And then on this one, I am gonna use the art glitter glue. And I'm gonna dot it very fine so that it doesn't come through the ribbon. Like so, and just press very lightly, but that's still going to be secure. And then, do you think maybe a little, let me see if that looks good right along there. I'm not sure. Now, you know what, you guys? Even though I did a very, very light amount, you can still see the glue. Oh, look, can you guys see that? Yep. Oh, dang. So, no mistakes in junk journaling, right? Oh, have to put something over the top. Let's see, what do I got? Oh, man. And I thought I was being really light-handed, but sometimes those things happen. It's just the way it goes. So let's see, what do I have here? Another piece right over the edge of that. That looks really good, although it is covering up my flower. Let's see what else I have. I don't like that one because it's covering up my flower. So, okay. Hold on just a second. I know what I've got that'll go with it. So let me grab it. Hold on just a second. I've got some thinner lace, trim I should say. So let's see if this works. And it really, really does. Now the key here is when you add the glue to this one, you're gonna have another glob underneath? I don't think so. So we're gonna go with it and we're just gonna see what happens, guys. Because I think that since there's a pattern on this particular lace, I think it'll be fine. And there, I gotta make sure that that gets secured down, and it is kind of moving here, so I do have to add a little bit more. Come on. All right, put that down. And remember, art glitter glue dries very clear, so you won't be able to see it. There we go. Cut off the top there. Get that so that it's secured down there. And it is. And just adding a little border of some lace looks so good. Now, why is this not going here? Come on. Don't fail me now. Don't fail me now, art glitter glue. There we go. All right, let's see. Oh, looks so stinking good. I love it. Now, what is this talking to me? It's saying, maybe put a wax seal right here. Maybe put a postage stamp. Who knows, right? So it's just so much fun to layer these signatures and see how they're coming to life. It just is the best. I'm just loving how this journal is coming together. So we did that one little bit on this signature. We added our flip out right here. We added, you know, just a little fold up right there. This little trim across the side. We've got the tuck. We've got this random piece of tablecloth. We're bringing in the pink. We're bringing in the pink. Yay. We've got a tab along the bottom. We've got our belly band that's now attached, and some more sari on the side of that. And then on the other signature, we've got this gorgeous piece of trim along the exterior that is creating some more tuck spots for some goodies. We added some tulle along the border there of that pocket. Just some random fabric. I mean, you know, piece of lace. It looks so good. And then remember the offcuts, adding those to your pages in whatever way, you know, sideways, along the bottom, along the top. Just love that look. And then clipping on some trim along the top, right? And then there's another tab along the back side. Oh, you guys, this is so fun. And look at how our signatures are coming together, you guys. Oh man, I am so excited. Look at that. It's already, I told you it's getting chunky, and we haven't even added anything yet. Oh, this is gonna be so gorgeous. It's coming together so well. I think the next video is we're going to construct the cover. And I've got some ideas, I'm not sure yet, so I'll go through those with you and tell you my thought process, and we're gonna construct the cover in the next video. So what I will do is I am going to sew around the borders of these pages, not all of them, but some of them. And like I said, that's totally optional. You don't have to do that. And so thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging with me. I know these videos are a little longer, but I just have so much fun and the time flies by so quickly. And I really appreciate you guys being here with me. So I'll see you in my next video. And thanks for watching. Bye.